You know, look, saying that he'd like to work on bipartisan issues like infrastructure and health care is one thing. Doing it in a midterm election year, quite another. Here to give us the realities of the situation are Chris Hahn, he's a former aide to Senator Chuck Schumer, and Ted Harvey, who is the chairman of the committee to defend the president. Gentlemen, good to see you.
Good afternoon. Great to be here, Cheryl.
We're going to try and create some bipartisanship today on Closing Bell. Chris, that is the question here. You know, you used to work for Senator Schumer. How, how annoyed are they about tax reform on the Democratic side? Because usually infrastructure, Chris, is the thing that everybody seems to like to agree on. They love to build things and spend money.
Well, look, I think you and I both live in New York, Cheryl, and we know that we could use some infrastructure spending around here, right? Yeah. And I think that Democrats will be involved with an infrastructure spending bill. It's something that's popular. The Democrats introduced a very large infrastructure bill back in, I think it was March of this year. I think it's the kind of bill that President Trump, if left to his own devices, would support. He is a New Yorker, after all. The question is, will he be corrupted by McConnell and Ryan, who only believe that tax cuts do everything? And I don't think that you could tax cut your way into building bridges, airports, tunnels, and train lines in this country. So let's hope that in the first quarter of 2018, the president, Democrats and Republicans come together and do what's needed in this country, and that's really build some new bridges, tunnels, roads, and airports.
And Ted, you know, that certainly is the question. There is no, I mean, you cannot deny that we need infrastructure. Look at what happened with that train derailment out west last week. But at the same time, I mean, you did have Congresswoman Debbie Dingell. She told CNN that she would be willing to work with the Republicans on infrastructure, but at what cost, I think, is the question here, Ted. Where is that threshold where Republicans and Democrats both get uncomfortable about talking about $1 trillion deal that, frankly, depends a lot on public-private partnerships, which is some Democrats aren't going to like that.
Sure, but you have to remember that the Democrats were arguing against the tax cut because they didn't want to have any deficit spending, or they thought it would increase the deficit. And if we have $1 trillion infrastructure bill going forward without actual cuts to the budget, we're going to explode the budget more than we already did during the 8 years of the Obama administration. We doubled the deficit during the 8 years of the Obama administration, and we are going to have to really look at the entire budget and prioritize what is in America's best interest. And certainly having a strong military is in our best interest, but also having a sound infrastructure is in our best interest. So hopefully we have the president, the Republicans in Congress, and the Democrats in Congress coming together to really try to reprioritize our budget. And certainly Trump is the man to do that. He's in the right place at the right time, and hopefully has the leadership abilities to bring everybody together to make sure that happens.
And you know, Chris, we've been talking about disaster relief funding. The folks in Texas and Florida, even Puerto Rico, you know, they need that rebuilding to start. There's a labor shortage out there right now, in particular in the construction industry, Chris. But again, that funding really isn't there yet.
Yeah, look, I am a little bit aghast that he would already turn to the deficit as a reason why we might not want to do something here. I think Republicans have lost that for at least 20.
I want to be responsible.
I want to do it. I want to do it, too. And you know what? I don't think Republicans can talk about being responsible with the deficit after the tax bill they just passed. I think it's time for them to stop with that nonsense talking point. You got to really rewrite your talking points. It doesn't work anymore. The American people do not want to hear it from you anymore.
I can't. You're both talking at once. Hold on until it's early. I just got back from vacation, Ted. But let me ask you about there's other sticking points here. I mean, we're talking about the border wall. I mean, Donald Trump has made it very clear, the president, he will build that wall with regards to immigration, but also the Dreamers, Ted. I mean, that's going to be another sticking point here. They gave themselves 6 months to figure out what to do with the Dreamers and to do with DACA, but that deadline's coming up in March. Do you think that that's another problem, another sticking point in all of this?
Well, I think it's definitely one of the priorities of this administration and a priority of Congress to deal with this issue. But one of the main things that we have to deal with is the chain migration that happens when one individual becomes a U.S. citizen. Currently, they're able to bring in their parents, their grandparents, their aunts, their uncles, their brothers, their sisters. And if we allow that to happen, then what we are going to be doing is rewarding people for breaking our laws, bringing their kids here, and then they become citizens, and then the whole family becomes citizens. We don't want to do that, but we do certainly want to help this situation because decades and decades and decades, we've encouraged this situation that has resulted in kids being here against their, they didn't decide to come here. Their parents brought them here. But we have to deal with the entire chain migration issue at the same time.
And the president's made it very clear that he's very sympathetic to those people, and that's why he gave Democrats and Republicans this time frame to work something out so that these people aren't sent back to countries where their lives could be at risk. And I think that's a great point. We didn't even get to health care, guys. But it was great to have you both on the show today. Chris Hahn.
There'll be no wall. I'll tell you that right now.
There's going to be a wall, Chris.
Trust me. It'll be huge.
As soon as Mexico pays for it, I'm all for it. If Mexico's paying for it, God bless them.
Gotcha. Chris Hahn, Ted Harvey. Guys, it was great to have you on. Thank you.